you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SiriusXM app filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
Hey, it's Andy Richter, here to tell you about the Andy Richter Call-In Show. Each week, I'll be inviting callers to weigh in on important questions like, have you ever seen a ghost? What's the worst job you've ever had? What's the worst date you've ever been on? Along the way, I'll be joined by my favorite comedians and friends. Check out the Andy Richter Call-In Show. New episodes each Wednesday at 4 p.m. East and West, replaced throughout the week on Conan O'Brien Radio. The show will also be available on demand in the SiriusXM app whenever you want. Just search Andy Richter.
New show Off Topic with Yamanika on Kevin Hart's LOL Radio, Channel 96. It was important for me to have a platform to express myself. I am a black woman in America, and I come from a very personal and very specific POV and opinion. I want to have a place where people like me can give you another perspective, and then you figure out what you want. Off Topic with Yamanika on Kevin Hart's LOL Radio.
To listen to Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio, activate your subscription now by calling 844-711-8800. Or head over to SiriusXM.com to sign up quickly.
There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, that's it. That's it. That's it.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at EquityZoneMortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. 018-14868.
Rondo Deportes, Bonjour, Vini Vini Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me and people who love the universe, what a beautiful day in the Hills, California. It's called Hump Day on a beautiful Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Happy birthday, Anthony. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard in the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sent you, where the good Lord split you. And hopefully the good Lord didn't split you too wide, because sometimes we get a wide split going to those fast food restaurants. They got a wide split called give me a number 3 and a Diet Coke. You don't want a number 3 and a Diet Coke. You just want to have some lettuce and the Big C burger. What's the Big C burger? It's a tasty burger. It comes with, what's all this exactly means? It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand, and most things taste better in your mouth than they do in your hand. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, going to talk about some college football. Right around the corner, we will stand up for the kickoff. Standing up for the kickoff coming up this weekend. Got some big games on site. I can't wait to see the LSU and USC game. Also, Notre Dame and Texas A&M all spared in Leavenworth. I do want to say Georgia and Clemson, that game's kicking up too. A lot of good games planned this weekend in college football. I want to say also, I got a little bit to talk about when it comes to reparations. You know, I believe in reparations so strongly. I always pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I don't want to waste my mind up in here. Like the late, great DMX said, he didn't want to lose his mind, and I don't want to waste my mind. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You know, this morning, I went to a meeting. They had some estate attorneys, and ironically, they put things in writing. He wanted me to sign a contract, and I said, well, wait a minute. I got to have my lawyer look at the contract first. And he's a lawyer. He said, trust me. I said, I trust what my lawyer tells me. I got to look at the fine print. And only a fool represents himself in court, if that makes sense to you. But a lawyer looked at me and said, trust me. And speaking of trust, I got a commercial about trust, and I'll bring that up to you also. But I do want to say I love doing Big C Sports Podcast because it's personal to me. A personal thing, I got to tell you, it's as personal as I walked in to a store last night, kind of hungry, and I found some organic seaweed snacks, the teriyaki flavor. I was saying sawweed snacks. I called back to the store. I said, you guys have any more sawweed snacks? They said, what kind of snacks, sir? I said, sawweed snacks. She said, sawweed? I never heard of sawweed snacks. I said, yeah, I just bought like 10 of them last night. Are you sure you didn't go to the lumber store, sir? I said, it was not the lumber store because I bought some sawweed. She said, well, can you spell it, please? I said, yeah, SEAWEED. She said, oh, seaweed. I said, yeah, man, like this great seaweed snacks. Who cares? I can't spell. I mean, I thought I could spell. I was looking for some sawweed. She said, we don't have sawweed, sir, but we do have seaweed. Well, I want to say with seaweed, I was able to get over the hunger pains because that sawweed tastes good. That seaweed makes it okay. Seaweed. Anyway, it's best to know how to spell what you're asking for when you call the store to ask if they have more of the stuff. I want to say with the Big C Sports Podcast, it's easy to spell Big C. B-I-G-C. B-I-G-C. You can spell Big C Sports. I always produce the show. I'm one beautiful, intelligent black man that love to eat sawweed. Or would that be seaweed? I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. You know what that means? It means we should all have more laughter in our lives, and I love having laughter, especially when I look at sawweed in the grocery store. She tried to send me to Home Depot. She said, maybe they have some sawweed, sir. We sell seaweed. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. The commercials are done. The stats are provided. I do the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play. Steph Curry for 3. Yes! Get in the hole in your life. Have you ever? I like getting in the hole. In fact, got some good boys that won the Olympics, and they were testing them out after the USA won the Olympics, but everything tested fair, so all I know, all fair and love and work. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City, and then streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And number 10, I never missed a show since doing my thing with Big C Sports back at Salem Media, because I know a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and I don't want to lose my mind. And now we have people who miss practice. I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about practice. We have people who miss practice, and I never miss a day of the show with Big C Sports Podcast. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And I'll try not to lose my mind, because sometimes when I'm looking for sawweed, and the lady said, we don't have sawweed. I said, I just bought some last night. Did they sell out? She said, sir, I can't find anything named sawweed. Are you sure you didn't go to Home Depot? She said, can you spell it for me? I grabbed the package. I said, SEAWEED. I said, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Anyway, I got some seaweed. I got to pick up some more seaweed tonight. That stuff's pretty good. I ate the whole package. You know, sometimes it's not like going through the fast food order number 2 with a Diet Coke, but it made me feel so good. I have a lot of energy because God knows I needed some energy. But you can never feel guilty about snacking again, because organic sawweed, or would that be seaweed, is really good for your health. You just gotta learn how to spell it. That's my story that I'm taking with you. You gotta learn how to spell it so you don't lose your mind. My goodness, that stuff is good for you. You know what's also good for you with Big C Sports Podcast? I love paying homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline, because the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And I love giving out that line. You know, anybody going through issues, you got to tell them 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. It is so good when somebody's leaning back. I love doing that with the Big C Sports Podcast. I got some stuff I want to tell you today that I learned that's very valuable information, and I'm gonna blend that into the show today, because I like being informative and trying to make sure you hear more than just who won a game, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Also want to say, you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise. I said that twice because I want to make sure that people get it, as opposed to seeing veterans not getting the love that they need when they go out and defend our country. But sometimes they get jacked up. They get messed up. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a real thing. And oftentimes people just say, yo, thank you for your service. And that's not good enough. Have a family full of veterans, from my great-grandfather in the Army, my father was Air Force, a brother Army, a nephew a Marine, and then friends who have been in the Navy. And that's what I love saying. I love saying that, giving out that hotline. It's more than just talk. Especially we have the DNC tonight over in Chicago, and they're trying to decide how they're going to get people to go vote for President Kamala Harris, future President Kamala Harris, and the election. And there are more people talking about what they're going to do, who they're going to vote for. And I say get out and vote, educate yourself, and do the best you can. I also want to say, with Big C Sports Podcast, I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. And sometimes people say, my pastor friends call me Big C. I don't see where it says reparations in the Bible. I said, oh, yes, it does. You just got to look close enough. Put on your glasses. And it said, let there be light. We got to shine light on reparations. I want to do that. But I'm so grateful to be able to do Big C Sports Podcast. I love having the opportunity to elucidate subjects when it comes to sports and reparations, and these living trusts, revocable and irrevocable trusts that I do with the RDC team. Really love opportunities that are there with Big C Sports Podcast. I also want to say, when it comes to that, everybody has their own beliefs in life. No matter what it is, you can't always try to say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. They say teamwork makes the dream work. And if something's not right, you fix it up front. Don't try to fix it on the back nine of a golf tournament. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to say, as I get into Big C Sports, I'm so grateful about what I'm going to add to the show today, because I learned about it today. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. They said that in the movie Dumb and Dumber. That wasn't Dumb and Dumber. That was Cheers, Big C. Okay, but still, you still want to go where everybody knows your name. And I want to do that with Big C Sports Podcast, with Big C Sports Podcast, Big C Sports Podcast, where everybody knows the name Big C Sports Podcast. I want to do that as well as I can. I got to tell you, I'm doing this commercial. That's important to me, especially after some things that I heard about today. I really think I'm going to elucidate the subject on some matters that are important to me with Big C Sports Podcast, because I know a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I do know a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I had to sneeze. Woo! Got some allergies sometimes, and I got to get rid of those allergies. But they like to show up, and they have a mind of their own. If you ever dealt with allergies, you know what I'm saying. But I'm going to say faith comes by hearing, and I'm going to have a commercial that I'm doing. Some people call it infomercial. I want to do it because it makes a lot of sense, especially after the meeting I had this morning. I want to say a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth. Resource Development Consulting, in conjunction with the law offices of Scott Thibodeau, attorney at law, and attorney George Jones, Esquire. The Missing Link, long-term care, solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits Medicare and You, Taking Care of Tomorrow, and in California it's called Medi-Cal. Other countries call Medicaid. Our promise to you, your family and spouse can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. You can find out your options. I'm telling you, you got to find out your options. It's so important, and all you got to do is call in order to find out your options. You got to call the Big C team at 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. Protection of your assets without a spend down. All paperwork and communications with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medications, medical equipment costs, and more. But not only that, have you ever dealt with anyone who had to deal with skilled nursing facilities? Have you ever dealt with anyone who had to deal with medical prescriptions? You know, like the ones you took this morning. Have you ever had to deal with anybody who dealt with medical equipment costs and more? But not only that, protection of your assets. We got to make sure we get that down. I learned a lot more today than I thought I knew. Because asset protection is really important, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. You know, I've been telling you, I'm big on reparations, and I'm big on Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie. I also believe in the Empire, with the Empire Strikes Back, and that's Star Wars. So long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the USS Starship Enterprise was on a 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds and to seek out new life and new civilization, and to boldly go where no man or woman had gone before. May lightning strike, warp speed straight ahead. So the USS Starship Enterprise, with Captain Kirk, Spock, and Scotty, they went into this new galaxy. It's called the Ooh Yeah Galaxy, and everybody looked like Jodeci. Ooh yeah! They all looked like Jodeci, but they came out of warp speed, known as hyperspace, and they saw this big, beautiful, black, shining planet. It had a blinking light on it. And Captain Kirk said, well, that's a beautiful planet, but I'm not sure it should be blinking. And Scotty said, yeah, that is a very peculiar blink, Captain, but it is pretty and black. And Spock said, yes, I would love to do the Vulcan mind meld. And then just as it said that, Captain Kirk said, well, maybe we should just put up the shields. I want to trust my instinct. And Scotty said, yeah, well, Captain, it's just a black, shiny planet. And Spock said, yes, I can't do the Vulcan mind meld if we put up the shields, Captain. And Spock and Scotty said, well, Captain, what do you think? And Scotty said, Scotty, come on, Scotty, tell Spock what to do. And Captain Kirk said, are you guys out of your Vulcan mind? Put the shields up. Because Spock was a Vulcan. And then he's very logical. But Captain Kirk, he trusted his gut. Like I trusted my gut today when that attorney said, just sign this document. It's not enforceable. I said, if it's not enforceable, why would I sign it? I don't know saltweed from seaweed. I'm glad that's not enforceable. But I said, I got to have my lawyer look at it. And just as they were about to get complacent and not raise the shields, Captain Kirk said, are you out of your Vulcan mind? Raise the shields. They heard over the PA system, this is Captain Darth Vader of the USS Starfleet Federation and the pilot, the captain of the Death Star, the new Federation flagship. And you have explicit orders from Starfleet Command. Do not raise your shields. It would be considered an act of war. And Captain Kirk said, well, I've never heard of that command. And Darth Vader said, I am your father. If you trust your feelings, you know it to be true. And he said, you're not my dad? He said, I am your daddy. Scotty, I'm your daddy. Captain Kirk, I'm your daddy. And Spock, I'm your daddy. And Scotty said, my dad left a long time ago. And Captain Kirk said, yeah, I just talked to my dad yesterday. And Spock said, yeah, my dad is green and you're black. You can't be my daddy. And then Darth Vader said, do not upset me. Do not raise those shields. It would be considered an act of war. You have an order from Starfleet Command. I want you to join the dark side. And Captain Kirk said, it's all dark in space. And then it must be the saltweed or the seaweed, because Darth Vader said, I have an offer you can't refuse. I'm going to give you Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Princess Leia, Jabba the Hutt, Lando Calrissian, Han Solo, and Chewbacca, and 2 robots, C-3PO and R2-D2. But do not raise your shields. It would be considered an act of war. But because Captain Kirk, he trusted his instinct, He said, warp speed straight ahead. And they got out of Dodge before the Empire Strikes Back in the Dark Star. The Death Star was trying to pulse to knock out the Enterprise, but it didn't work because Captain Kirk, just like me today, he trusted his instinct. And the Enterprise was able to see another day. And that's what we say with the RDC team. It's important. Avoid the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program. I learned today that about 70% of the people in the United States do not have a will or trust. I'll say it again. 70% of Americans in the United States do not have a will or a trust. And at the end of life, the courts, they will have a will for you. And you will not like it. You get the will with the RDC team and the trust. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. Maybe give that some praise. You got to give that some praise. It's so important. I gotta add into my commercial some things that I learned today that I want to share because it's so important. I know you want to hear touchdown, home run, three-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. And before I get into our endorsements, this is so important. You can also take a quiz. They're not going to tell you this on any other show. You got to understand there's three things you got to consider. If you die intestate, it means you have no plan. That means probate has a plan for you. And that's 7 out of 10 Americans. A last will and testament is a public document. We got to know that. You got to have that. A trust can avoid probate, revocable, and irrevocable at the end of life. You got to know those things are important. Because if you go to probate, it freezes up everything. It can take 2 or more years. It can take 2 or more years. Probate takes 40 to 60%. That's incredible. That's incredible. There's so many things that only a lawyer can tell you. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. And you got to tell them Big C sent you. That's important. And so when I tell you why the Big C team, because I tell you, we have asset protection. Insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning and avoid the look-back period. It protects your fixed assets. That's what a trust does. Your bank account, your checking account, your savings account, money market account, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, your fixed indexed annuities. But not only that, your variable assets, real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, and other investments. Avoid capital gains. Let's say you buy a house for $100,000. And then 1 year later, it appreciates to $1 million. That's what some insurance and real estate brokers tell you in order to get a sell. Well, that's a $900,000 capital gain. You can avoid that in a trust. You got to have your property in a trust. Attention business owners. Attention business owners. This is Darth Vader. Captain Darth Vader of the USS Death Star. You don't want to meet that guy in space. You got to find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. And people may say, well, why would we trust you, the Big C team and the RDC team? I'm glad you asked because we have some great endorsements. We have the endorsement of the late James Gomez, who advised 4 California governors and led change in California nursing homes. He served on Golden One's board of directors. 21 years. The late Jim Gomez, the CEO of California Association of Health Facilities, and he endorsed the RDC team. But not only that, the late Robert Carlson, who was the top legal mind of CalPERS, he endorsed the RDC team. We got to understand those things are important, and I got more to add to it because we have Attorney George Jones, Esquire, the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We have Mr. Tony Scott Thibodeau, works with many of the top estate planners in Northern California. We have Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, and works with many of the top lobbyists in California. We have Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. She endorses the RDC team. But not only that, we have Mr. Ray De La Cruz. He's the CEO of Resource Development Consulting. We have Mr. Alex De La Cruz. He's the founder of American Veteran Benefits. But not only that, we have Charlton Curry, the co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project. Also, business development consultant with the RDC team. But not only that, owner of Big C Sports Podcast, heard all over the universe. And I endorse the RDC team. But not only that, we have Double O. She's on the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She's also a consultant with the RDC team and has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. You can Google it on Access Sacramento. She also endorses the RDC team. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You know, I believe in something called reparations, which means to repair. And a lot of the attorneys, they love when you don't have a will and a trust. In fact, a lot of lawyers, they make their money through probate. I said they make their money through probate. Driving up and down highways, you'll see sign after sign after sign. I saw more attorney signs than I saw fast food restaurant signs in Northern California over the weekend. I said I saw more attorney signs than I saw restaurant signs on the highways in Northern California. You got to know they love. I don't want to sound macabre at all. I want to sound macabre.